In the cold silence beyond Mars, something ancient is awakening. A lone traveler drifts across the void, a visitor from another star, carrying with it the quiet history of a forgotten system. It glows faintly, like a wounded ember pushed across the cosmic sea by forces we do not yet understand. For weeks, astronomers observed it with caution. Its orbit made sense. Its speed made sense. Its brightness almost made sense, but its behavior did not. Every new measurement broke another assumption. Every new observation rewrote another rule. Every new prediction collapsed under the weight of the unknown. And then, the images arrived. Images taken by observatories across Earth, the Moon, and the inner solar system. Images that showed something no comet should ever possess. A structure pointing the wrong way. A tail that defied the solar wind, defied radiation pressure, defied every model built across a century of comet science. A luminous, razor-thin, impossibly long, anti-tail, not pointing away from the sun, but pointing toward. Its sharp dense, perfectly aligned, as if shaped by unseen hands. In that moment, something shifted, not in the skies, but in us, a recognition that the universe was not conforming to our expectations tonight. On NASA's screens, the first processed frame flickered and froze. A silhouette, a shadow of dust and light stretching. Millions of kilometers in a direction no comet's tail had ever taken. A structure that should not exist, yet undeniably did. And in that silent moment, one truth rose from the darkness like a cold breath. 3I Atlas wasn't here to follow our rules. It was here to expose their limits. The stars offered no explanation, but the visitor, the lonely traveler from beyond our sun, had already begun telling its story, and that story begins now. Soft, atmospheric drone, quiet ticking of an observatory clock. Slow heartbeat like rumble beneath it started like so many astronomical discoveries do. With a faint smudge of motion across a star field, the object we now call 3I Atlas entered our solar system silently. Drifting on a hyperbolic trajectory, the unambiguous signature of something not bound to our sun. It came from interstellar space, a region colder than darkness itself, a place where time stretches thin, and matter drifts through emptiness for millions of years at first. Astronomers assumed it was another Almumole-like object, a chunk of fractured rock or frozen dust from a distant star system, wandering endlessly between suns. But 3I Atlas did something unusual. It approached the sun and remained quiet. Most comets erupt into activity as they warm. They shed ice, dust, gas, forming a coma, a tail, a halo. They brighten, they flare, they reveal their fragility. 3I Atlas did none of this. No coma, no gas jets, no conventional tail. Just a cold, silent nucleus gliding through the inner solar system like a ghost refusing to be illuminated. But then, as it approached perihelion, the closest point to the sun, an array of telescopes reported something strange. The Las Cumbres Observatory captured a thin streak extending from the nucleus, a structure too straight, too narrow, too consistent to be a normal dust trail. It wasn't bending, it wasn't curving, it wasn't drifting under the solar wind. Instead, it pointed back directly toward the sun at first. Astronomers blamed equipment, a misalignment, a calibration issue, a glitch in the optical system. But when the second observatory confirmed the same structure, and the third, and the fourth, the disbelief turned into silence. This anti-tail wasn't weak. It wasn't a perspective trick. It was real, a stream of dust and warp. Particles aligned with mathematical precision, stretching millions of kilometers in the forbidden direction in the world of comet science. This was heresy, Antitails exist. Yes, but faint, temporary, created only in rare geometric alignments from Earth's line of sight. But this was different. It was bright, it was structured, it was three-dimensional, and it was aligned with perfect consistency across every viewing angle. It wasn't a mistake. The cosmos had presented us with an object that challenged our most fundamental expectations. What kind of interstellar traveler points its tail into the sun? The question lingered heavy, unsettling, impossible to answer. And the deeper astronomers looked, the stranger the mystery became. Rising tension, sweeping wind like ambience, faint metallic resonance. More observatories joined the effort. The Hubble Space Telescope, still one of humanity's sharpest eyes in orbit, locked onto 3I Atlas. The images it returned did not calm the scientific community. Instead, they ignited something else, a quiet fear. The antitail wasn't diffuse. It wasn't a chaotic plume of dust. It wasn't a disorganized spray escaping from a volatile nucleus. It was layered, thin. Parallel patterns stretched across its length like frozen ripples, repeating structures that defied randomness. The dust grains were not drifting. They were aligned along invisible pathways, as though shaped by something subtle and deliberate. But what force could do this? There were no significant magnetic fields in the region, no solar storms, no unusual electric currents, no gravitational interactions strong enough to sculpt dust at this scale. The particles were behaving as if they were responding to instructions. On Earth, the modeling team struggled. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory ran simulations, thousands of simulations, changing variables, adjusting assumptions. Every model broke. No natural comet could create a dust structure of this precision, not at these distances, not with this density, not with a nucleus so small it could barely hold itself together. Something did not add up. The ALMA radio array picked up subtle deviations in the object's velocity, tiny shifts, delicate drifts, infinitesimal changes that suggested influences beyond gravity, not significant enough to claim intelligent control, but significant enough to say 3I Atlas was not moving entirely on its own. As the object drew closer to the sun, something else happened. The antitail brightened, but then it sharpened. Its edges became more defined. Its length extended. Its density increased. It wasn't being destroyed by sunlight, it was responding to it. Comets do not respond to radiation with precision. They erupt, fragment, scatter. There. Dust blows outward chaotically. But 3I Atlas was shaping its dust, guiding it, aligning it along a direction that contradicted the universe's rules. Patterns emerged. Order. Where there should be chaos. Coherence. Where there should be shattering. Purpose. Where there should be randomness. The deeper the data went, the more unsettling the truth became. Music falls into silence. A single deep pulse echoes. Tension thick and heavy. Then came the moment. The ESA solar orbiter, positioned inside the inner heliosphere, captured a frame that would destabilize the narrative entirely. From its unique vantage point, the antitail looked different. Not like a dust trail, not like a plume, not like a geometric illusion, but like a structure. A vast, thin, luminous sheet, razor-like in its sharpness, impossibly uniform in its thickness, extending from the nucleus. Like a blade cutting through the solar wind. It was symmetrical, balanced, even. For an instant, it resembled the fin of something engineered, but no metal was present. No artificial spectral signatures, no signs of technology, just dust. Aligned in a way dust should never align. The most disturbing detail wasn't its shape, it was its behavior. The Antitail widened and narrowed in sync with the sun's fluctuating radiation output, as if listening, as if responding, as if adjusting. Coronal mass ejection, a burst of charged particles, rushed past the region where a normal comet's dust tail would scatter violently. The antitail stiffened. It compressed, constricted, formed a narrower, denser band, almost like a cosmic sail responding to a sudden wind. But this wasn't a sail. Made by hands, it wasn't solid. It wasn't designed. It was dust, behaving like a coordinated organism, a natural phenomenon, acting with unnatural precision. The scientific community hesitated. No one wanted to declare the unthinkable. No one wanted to claim intelligence. No one wanted to step into the realm of speculation, but the evidence was impossible to ignore. 3I Atlas was adapting. It was responding. It was behaving in a way no comet ever had. And so, in quiet conversations across observatories, labs, and universities, a question began to take form. Is this truly a comet? Or something older, shaped by physics we do not yet understand? An artifact of a dead solar system, a relic carved by tidal forces around a collapsed STARA survivor expelled by a supernova, or something else entirely? Something the universe had never shown us until now. Gentle ambient swell, soft shimmering tones, slow contemplative echoes today. 3I Atlas continues its silent journey through our solar system. It passes between worlds without words. It leaves no signals, no broadcasts, no messages, just a shimmering antitail, pointing defiantly toward the sun. A contradiction carved into the physics of dust and light. Scientists continue to analyze, models become more sophisticated, hypotheses multiply and crumble, but certainty remains out of reach for all our equations, for all our theories, for all our sensors and telescopes. The universe still holds the final say. Some objects arrive not to give answers but to remind us that our understanding is incomplete, that our knowledge is young, that our place in the cosmos is still fragile. 3I Atlas does not roar across the sky. It does not announce itself. It does not demand our attention. Instead, it whispers with dust arranged in impossible patterns, with silence in the face of our confusion, with a tail that points in the direction no tail should ever go. And perhaps that is the message, that not everything extraordinary must be artificial, that not every anomaly hides intent, that some mysteries exist simply because the universe is larger, older, and stranger than we imagine. Whether 3I Atlas is a comet, or a relic of some ancient interstellar catastrophe, or a surviving shard of a forgotten world, it has given us something precious. Wonder A. Return to the feeling humanity once had when we first looked up at the night sky. A reminder that even with all our tools, all our science, all our certainty, we are still students of the cosmos. The universe has not revealed everything. It still holds secrets close, and every so often, it releases one into our skies, not to be solved, but to be witnessed. Narrator. Final line. Maybe we're not meant to understand everything. Maybe we were only meant to wonder.